saw the world from the other side, but it's alright.
Watchers, those types that you requested a challenge.
There we go. Got company. It's dangerous to watch.
That's running.
Yeah.
They're running.
Yeah, you can't get away. I got my associates blocking the door. This is hurting me right back into my zone. So what we're going to do, Saiyr, we're going to practice our energy slapping a whole group of idiots. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. See, they come because they can't believe it. They're in denial. No, this can't be happening. And the reason they can't believe it because no one survives after they meet me. None of the density survives once they meet me. They don't ever know what happened to the other ones, but they'll find out because they're going to the same place I sent them. Well, what happened to the stomping? I thought they were going to get riled up with their stomping thing again.
They only have parts of their bodies left of the stompings and stuff. Easy.
So, as Ms. Hay was explained that if you were to see it in a form where there are actual people, they're literally more or less obliterated. So there's literally body parts. You know, it's kind of like those zombie movies where, you know, they lose half their body, but they're still crawling around trying to.
Yes.
But instead of trying to.
Like.
That's what it looks like. But which direction are they crawling?
Just kind of looking for their pieces and just.
You're wasting time. Your pieces are, with my intent, every loose piece. Now you have no pieces. So anyway, good one. Now, can you feel it when you do can you feel that? When you do the slap?
Yes. For the first slap we did, my hand did get hot. And for this one, I felt really, really focused.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because this is, it's part of a tool that I've been using for a while, but I'm presenting that, to you as something to practice, on your own, or when Nellie has a session, I can update her a bit on that particular aspect of it, how to just focus your intent, just like, so it's not like I have to, tunnel vision, because the system wants you to tunnel vision. That's how they get over on you. Just focus on this one thing, this one thing. In reality, with your energy that comes directly from Supreme Consciousness Universe, you have the capacity to focus on everything that you want to focus on at the same time. So I don't have to pick this guy, that guy, that guy. I said, I'm hitting them all. That's my intent. And because my intent is so intelligent, I don't have to delineate between, don't hit harmless things, just hit, anything that doesn't vibrate properly. Your intent knows it. Your higher consciousness knows what you want to do. So again, that's another thing about separating you from, who you really are, your higher consciousness. So higher consciousness wants out of the trap, which, doing a very good job with that. You've been with me, almost a year?
Yes, we're approaching a year.
Yeah, approaching a year. So in that time, your higher consciousness wanted to move towards that energy, towards that vibration, towards that light that I give off and that I share with those who are sincere. Yeah. And you hear them, when they start to cry, it means, for them, it's like, all is lost. Oh, all is lost. Woe is me. And what I do to that, their sadness, I laugh in their face. That's all they deserve. And so some were putting on, look at that. Oh, he doesn't, crying doesn't work? Yeah. No, it doesn't work on me. So anyway,
I was gonna say what I appreciate about you, Chief, is when I was going over my notes before we got on for the session, I had a moment. I was like, if I were to tell this to anyone else, they would call me crazy. But you are the first individual or consciousness to not call me crazy and be like, what you're seeing is true.
Yeah. And then I prove to you that it's true.
Yes.
Because you see results, you see how you feel after.
Mhm.
And that's what this, this system or the matrix, if people want to use that, they want you to think that you're crazy if you see the matrix and see what they're doing. They don't like seers. So, this channel, one of the reasons that, for this channel is that inspired, amongst other reasons, is that there are a number of individuals out there who have been experiencing these things, just like yourself, who, as you said, if you were to tell them this is what's going on, they'll say you're crazy. Sometimes it's out of fear. Sometimes it's because they're dense entities. And the thing inside of them said, oh, we don't need a seer. We need to dissuade this person. And also, consciousness coming in and caught in this realm, as I mentioned before, you might as well say you're on death row as far as they're concerned. They don't care what they do to you as long as they get the essence out of you. It's like someone squeezing a toothpaste tube, but some people like roll it in neatly and so on and so forth. And they're the guys who just take it and go, blah, just squeeze it any kind of way, and then they don't care as long as they get what's in that tube. So as long as they get the energy from you, the essence from you, they don't care how they do it. They don't care about you or anyone. There's some folks who may think that they're special. Nah, you're not special. They don't like anybody. And there's reasons for that. Where consciousness comes from originally, they have a problem with that, even though they come from that. But anyway, is there something that you're sensing? Anything you want to share right now?
Yes, when I was telling the story about the individual being possessed, I felt some fear in me of like, oh no, what if all these individuals watch this? And it's like me feeling like a child, like I'm gonna get in trouble, when I have to realize I'm not gonna get in trouble. And it's me adjusting to understanding how protected I really am being in this movement.
Yeah. You are protected. And
And they were crying and talking about that, you're getting stronger and that you're getting away from them.
Well, as you tell, Ms. A is an intense empath. This is for the audience, you already know that Ms. A is an intense empath. And everyone who empaths have their own unique vibrational way of seeing things and sensing things. And as Ms. A was saying, yeah, you're getting away and they're desperate. And so they pull out their really just tired, playbook, because they've never had anyone challenge their playbook before I entered the game. So I said, oh, I know that one. So it's like, oh, here's your playbook. I light a match. You might as well just give it up, dudes. But they don't know anything else. They just keep coming. And even another intense empath, as you know, Miss Oracle L, sorry. Miss Oracle L saw me literally trashing a bunch of them while we were having a discussion. The three of us were having a discussion. And she says, I'm seeing everything that you're doing to them. She said, but why do they keep coming? What's wrong with them? Are they retarded or something? I said, no, they are. So yeah, they don't like it if you laugh at them. It's like you laugh at them, throws them. They don't have much game anyway. Hiding in the dark. And that's kind of like really that's weak. Yeah, we got watchers coming in. Good boys, contained. Yeah, well, I beat the arrogance out of them.
I did realize too, growing up, even into like my adulthood, individuals would use sound to spook me and get essence from me. So now what's going on in the house is like them trying to use sound with the stomping and stuff like that, because it gets like a quick startle out of me. And I'm trying to sense or predict when something is going to make a noise, where something's going to fall. For instance, like the trash bag, I'll look at it right before it falls, or I'm able to catch things before it falls to prevent it from like startling me. So I feel like that's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool because your senses are expanding. Their thing is to try to just, compress your ability to sense anything, literally. So, if someone wants to play a game on, in this realm on someone and, very maniacal, they blind them, or they do something to, deafen their ability to hear, in whatever way that they can, because they're always trying to stack the deck, against you. And they don't believe in such things. When folks talk about fair play, I say you might as well get rid of that word, because there is no real fair play in this realm. The only ones who believe in fair play may be those who have a bit more light than others. But they're mistaken if they think that they can influence the whole the whole group of people with the concept of fair play, when the majority and the masses are inundated with density. And they've been growing up with this stuff. They've been introduced to it even through their so-called parental units, or even, as you were saying, telling me about the intensity of a certain, person who was using, spells and dense magic and so on and so forth. So this is to show that you do what I tell you to do. And if you're sincere, the tools will work like a charm for you. And they don't like the fact that your confidence also increases your energy levels. So keep practicing, and if you can sense how much more effective each time you throw a blow. And I mean a blow like but like that. And the cool thing about you and the dancing and movement and so on and so forth, when you think in terms of the martial arts, or even something like Tai Chi, which is slow motion, but they're moving their energy around. And that maybe it's just to it's like keeping your energy flexible. I'd say something like Tai Chi or Qigong or something like that. With me, this will keep your energy flushed out. In other words, keep those pipes clean every time you use the tools. Every time you do an energy cycle. So that energy comes up all the way from the nose, top of the head, and as you purge, whatever little density that's sitting in there starts to purge out just by me doing that and you focusing on what I'm doing. It just knocks them off their little pedestals, knocks them out of their little seats, and gathering them up, contained, vortex of no return. So when I did see, you hear them, this is Miss Abe, she's empathing. This is no bull crap. This is a real deal. As you know, and those who are a part of my movement know, this is no fakery. This is no BS. This is not, promising things that will never come to fruition. So when I say you are gaining your freedom, you are gaining your freedom. Because you can feel it. It's not a placebo effect where you're, okay, I feel free. Oh yeah, I feel free. And then a week later, oh, I feel like I'm right back where I was before. You're never right back where you were before. So every time they pour it on, and sometimes they try to use other people, say, oh, they're setting up booby traps. Which some tried to do that with some of the clients. Someone said, well, they said that they're going to wrap it up and you're going to be in for it. You're going to really. I said, really? I've been paying attention to this. I've been at the forefront of this battle, and I can tell that they're weakening and they're weakened. And every time I get rid of them, they can't reproduce. Because there's only one way to produce a consciousness, and they can't do it. So they've been hijacked, turned into whatever these things are, and so they're like ghosts, ghouls, whatever, they're just the damage, literally. And they use the fear of a person to weaken them. The fear that they can hurt you makes it so that they can. So there's been ghost shows, supposedly, that I've seen, some years ago, where they're, stomping around some old building, and they said, well, this has been known to be haunted. And someone said, show yourself, or whatever. And they're just standing in the corner. Look at these jokes. And then they look for the one who's the most afraid. I mean, it's true. I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I don't know what episode. It was like this show, what they called The Most Haunted, that was out of England. And one of the cameramen was like, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the daughter, and they're going to hit him. And before you knew it, the guy got flung across the room. Because he was the most vulnerable, the most afraid, the most weakened. So this is part of their tactic, their technique. And again, what really helps support is that I give you viable tools. So it's not like you're going out there trying to fist fight with a tank. You know, you literally have like a bazooka. Then after you finish that, next. So, see, this is scary to me. They're shaking at their side right now. That's one of the great things about this A, is that she,
Watchers.
as I said, there's watchers again.
Big
So,
devil face.
come on, devils. You're just an illusion. And even if you weren't, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Come on.
His face is distorted.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, get hit because they're in this essence type state that their faces just get, and they get stuck that way.
2/3 of it is gone.
Yeah, well, as they said, 2/3 of his face is gone. But there's like a group of them. If anyone thinks it's a joke, try me. I freak people out when I say, oh, okay, you want to have some inkling of what I do? Put your hands about 12 inches apart. And then I send that energy. You feel that? Holy crap! So this is not an illusion. You can't see that energy, but you sure as hell can feel it. The other realms do exist. And that's where everyone comes from, the other realms. Into this. It's funny, they got kind of chatty out there, didn't they? But anyway, again, how individuals will, you know, just people making noises, even, you know, animals acting really weird. All these things are vulnerable to what goes on in the grid, the matrix, or whatever you want to call it. And why they don't like seers is because you're actually looking behind the curtain, like in The Wizard of Oz. You know, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain working all these all these gears and everything. Because all you see is this big face, you know, telling you, you know, and through movies and so on and so forth, you're tuned up to be afraid. How do you know what to be afraid of unless someone teaches you what to be afraid of? Wow, they're getting really, really chatty out there. It's like a little street urchin convention going on outside. These guys are very, very easily possessed. So we're going to, they're doing their marching thing now. That never works, you idiots. I guess you wouldn't know because the last one, not sent to the Lord takes no return. So join me in this one. We're going to target these idiots. 1, 2, 3. Got a bigger girl? I will always get you. Always. Now, they want to do that because I was targeting the little street urchins and the things that are in them. Okay, now we're going to focus on them. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Runners and watchers. Keep jumping in them. I'll just keep hitting you. Yep. Again. Or more. Seems like they're moving, either getting quieter or they're moving away. and getting quieter.
Both moving and getting quiet.
Yeah, the reality of the matter, they're losing numbers all the time. And when I work, I wipe out a whole lot of them. And I welcome challengers. And that's your sensitivity. Every time you're coughing, you know that I'm hitting them and they're purging out and into the vortex of no return.
I have a question, Chief. So when there's watchers, are they on your end and then over here on my end as well? Like the watchers can be anywhere?
Yeah, they watch from the ether, literally. Because as far as they're concerned, this is an illusion. It's like that scene of the holographic map in the Hunger Games, in one of the Hunger Games sequels, where they're standing there looking at the map, and they can see what's in the grid because we're still in their little matrix. But they can't do anything about me tearing up the matrix for a minute. So, it's, oh, we're gonna have to stop him. Somebody get in there. Is that what was it? Okay, what was that? You wanna? This is gonna save their ass. I'm not gonna stop yet. Really?
Yes.
That was freaking, I went by fast. Okay, but we're gonna wrap it up. I'm going to see about the little, the little walkers in the house. I already see them. I'm gonna set something up for them. This one is gonna be unique. Yep, it's trying to pull them up because what you're also often is their intent and their focus on you, and certain individuals focus on you. So what I've set up, as they focus on you, they come into it's like a tornado, or something that will suck them up and into the destination that I choose for them. So this is something that is going to move from, up and down in your house like that.
Shit. Gosh.
And it will continue to move up and down. If I don't tell it to stop, it will just keep doing it. And anything that's vibrating incorrectly will get pulled into that. And
Thank you.
Yes. So.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, Ms. A, if you want to ask a question, non-verbally. Okay, that's a yes.
Okay. So the thing was that sometimes the stomping is coming from the ether. So they make sounds in the ether, which you guys are able to hear, and they make it sound like it's in the house.
Yeah. So even in extremes, they will do things where they will manifest some illusion. Sometimes they're in there, sometimes they're manifesting an illusion to try to throw you off. But when you get more tuned in as an investigator and tuning up your empath abilities, you will be able to decipher whether that thing is actually there or something being projected from somewhere else. But regardless, I go down and I say, I don't care whether you're a projection or not. If I hit you, I'm hitting your source also. So if it's an image that's showing up, I would, you can contain it if you want, but it's always fun to do a little nice slap. But I also like this one, where my intent, again, will always hit the mark, and that's what's going on with your intent. You will always hit your mark, and boom. So it's not even extending a punch like you're doing in boxing and so on and so forth. It's literally the intent of my energy punch. I'm punching a pulse of extremely, I should say, condensed light energy at this thing. And every time you punch, you're not losing energy, okay? So don't think in terms of that. They will try to have you think that you're losing energy every time you're, aren't you out of energy yet? No, because I am being fed by Supreme Consciousness Universe, which is everlasting, as they used to say when they were trying to threaten Ms. A, or not really threaten, they were talking amongst each other, and you knew they called me the energy that never ends.
Food that never dies.
The food that never dies.
But they didn't know if you existed or not.
Yeah, it was like some kind of myth or something like that. The food that never died. And so whenever I hit, bam, I keep hitting, bam, I hit as many times as I want, boom. I can hit my sleep, boom. And even in the dream that I was talking about for a moment, that had to do with you and a certain individual, there was a point where I literally had to use my own techniques to knock certain entities out of the way in the dream, and when even in the dream, send them to the vortex no return, or send them to the destination of choice. Because I have one destination of choice that will segue them into the vortex no return, and it's a very unpleasant destination for them.
That's
okay.
Cool.
So anyway, is there something that you wanted to add to this, and then we can wrap it up?
Just we can do another one with the plants and
oh right, the plants. Well, we can. In other words, you have your notes and so on and so forth. Don't forget the story having to do with the plants.
Oh yes, I have it in my notes.
Okay, and just don't keep it fresh in your mind, because we're going to be doing these obviously regularly. And the thing that takes a little time is when I start hitting them. So it's about discussion, explaining what's going on, and then dealing with them.
And you gave training too, because the tool, the exercise you did today is great for those who are like hiding in the ether. Because I remember they were messing with the power button on the oven, and I was literally watching them, make the button go on and off. And so I pushed the button and started attacking them because I thought they were in the button. And she's like, no, they're in the ether, but you think they're hiding in the button. And I was like,
yeah, just to add to another interesting story to add to it. Miss Oracle A, Miss Oracle L. Maybe because there is an Oracle. Miss Oracle L.
In training.
Oracle in training. Was telling me that during one of the more recent training sessions, she saw entities show up on either side, and they definitely weren't individuals who were supportive of what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And I usually will feel if something in the space, but they were looking from in other words, from a holographic, from the ether. But because of her vision, they think that they're looking at me in a hiding place, in a secret place, but she literally saw them, where they were, and then just out in the open. They had no idea that they're being spied on. And there's a certain individual who transitioned out several months ago, that I knew, who showed up after a certain point, and that individual, Ms. A, and I, we were communicating with this person while they were in a coma on their way transitioning out. And the individual said he wants to be part of this. I said, okay, fine, whatever, okay, if you want to, great, the more the merrier. I like the guy, and in life, and now he's on the other side. And she said this big guy, and this guy was a big guy, not like fat like that, but big guy. She said these things were there, like one on one side, one on the other side, near Ms. A's head, and I'm focusing on working on this particular subject. And she said, after a point, this big guy comes in between them, the two, and then the one gets really, really uncomfortable. She said one represented itself as a female, got kind of uncomfortable, and the other one represented himself as a male, but he was going to stand his ground. So, however, he got rid of the female, sent her where she needed to go, and then the male said, I'm going to stand my ground. And she said there was literally a scuffle going on behind me while I was working. And so finally, he got the thing in a headlock that he couldn't get out of, and then got rid of that one as well. So, he decided to be one of the associates in the battle.
That's
so,
cool.
Yeah, so there are individuals on the other side, as you know, certain individuals that we talk about who are there to support and to help you, in your mission, and they sense sincerity. So, they don't care if someone speaks rhetoric, but if they sense that you are sincere and they observe that what you're doing is going along with supporting the mission and the movement, they will support you. So you have that support in your house, and don't be surprised if they're allowing certain things to happen so that to make your first paranormal report even more interesting. Not that it would ever be boring, but just more interesting. Brushing them out so that they're thinking that they're secretly doing things to you when in reality they're being watched.
Okay. Cool.
And they will never be able to take you down as long as you're in the movement. So I think that we're going to do a containment containing you and. My eyes are closed this time. And what I set up in your house is going to be continually moving up and down. So anything that wants to play, be funny, you're going to get hit. And it's not like, we can time it on, it takes 2 seconds to go this way, 2 seconds to go. It will speed up when it needs to. You jump in, next thing, you're done. So you can let me know whether the little stomping around thing continues or not, the walking around and all that, whether it continues or not.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Okay, you're welcome, and thank you for being a part of this. This is really going to help not just the movement, but I think it's going to help a number of individuals who are intense seers who are misunderstood, or they have individuals that don't want to listen to them or blame them for whatever weirdness that's going on in the house or in their environment. So terrific. Again, Saiyr.
I'm grateful to be on this movie.
I'm grateful to have you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. You got some really cool footage, or I guess stills and footage, or just?
Stills, photos.
Yeah, and from the explanation that. Yeah. So when did this happen?
This was early in the day. I want to say 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So these guys are desperate. They're coming out during the daytime.
Yeah. I was sitting on the balcony drinking tea, and a bee kept coming up to the balcony and like coming towards me, and I'm like, okay, just don't show any fear so I don't get stung or anything. And I kept containing, but it just kept coming back. So I was like, all right, let me go inside. So once I stood up from my chair, our balcony window is right there. And I looked into it and my eyes were pitch black, and it kind of looked like my reflection was smirking at me. And so I was observing it, and then it started to go away, but it didn't fully go away. So I've been practicing the energy slaps and then containing after. And so it went away, and then I went inside into the living room, and I was sitting next to the balcony door, which is straight glass. It kind of looks like it's double-sided. But I felt like something was staring at me, and the footsteps were happening right above me, which those have come down to like a minimum, like I haven't heard them in a while. And I look and I saw a bunch of faces in the balcony window in the door. And so I was like, okay, let me try to get a picture of it so I can show Chief. And luckily they were still there, and I was able to capture a lot. One that really stood out was like a skeleton in a business suit. Yeah, and it just stayed there, and I was able to capture a lot of pictures, and the more pictures I got, the more detailed its face got. And then I was able to also spot other orbs with faces around it. So I just contained it and then closed the blinds.
Yeah, there were so many different size heads and stuff.
Yes, so it's interesting. It probably caught them off guard because I guess they were figuring they're putting on their biggest scare. They said, "Oh, this would be good for the paranormal report." And just take pictures of them. Just get your pictures, and we're going to creep you out. Said, "No, you're a bunch of weak ass so and so's." So
Yeah.
I did once they had described what was going on, and then I just contained these idiots. And we'll see what else a certain individual sends in your direction. I'm quite sure since the person's very, very stubborn, they haven't gotten, they just can't believe it or whatever it is, or they're just that desperate. But I definitely got that it was from the same source when. But the thing is that they were outside of outside the house, outside the building, and not inside the building. And whatever, I guess you said you heard the footsteps was it above, and you said normally or usually, not normally, but usually that's like around midnight. You said when you would
Yeah.
hear them. Yeah, and so they decided they're going to do it, right in the middle of the day. So this shows their desperation. They were just to try to, break your focus and try to drive you backwards using fear. And so you're doing a good job, handling and purging out that fear stuff. That you will stand your ground and you're not, camera's not shaking while you're taking pictures and so on. Yeah. So was there any movement when they're in the reflection or anything, or they were just kind of like standing there?
They were just kind of standing there. It's kind of like a stare off. Like, is she really looking at me now?
Staring game.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They don't really have much. If they can't frighten you, they just don't have much. So that's really cool. I think, is there anything else you wanted to add to that? Did we just like go on into the session?
No, the only thing was like my eye started twitching after that happened. But thank you for fixing that. Like right as I was reading the text of Chief handled it, I was like, oh, my eye stopped twitching.
Awesome.
Yeah, they can't beat my intent. But anyway, no, this is cool.
Come here, waste your time for sustenance you will not find. On the covers, the light breaking in their boots, they will be staying.